The Tale of Scheherazade. What if you had one night to save your life and the lives of thousands of innocent women? This is the true origin story behind the legendary Arabian Nights. By the end of this story, you will discover how one woman's courage and intelligence defeated a mad king's reign of terror. But there is a twist. She didn't use weapons, she used something far more powerful. Stay until the end to find out what happens on that fateful first night. Let's dive in. Long ago, in the magnificent empire of Sassanide, which stretched from Persia to the borders of China, there ruled a beloved king whose name was praised throughout the land. When he died, he left behind two sons who loved each other deeply. The elder Scheherazade became Sultan of Persia, but his heart ached that he couldn't share his kingdom with his beloved brother Scheherazade. For a time, Sultan Scheherazade lived in bliss. He had a wife he loved more than the life itself. He showered her with the finest jewels, the most beautiful dresses, and all the splendor his empire could offer. But then everything shattered. After several years of marriage, Sultan discovered the unthinkable. His beloved wife had been deceiving him all along. Her betrayal cut so deep that something inside the Sultan broke. His mind twisted with rage and despair. And he made a terrifying declaration. All women are wicked at heart. The fewer that exist in this world, the better. What happened next would become one of history's darkest chapters. The Sultan's decree was absolute and horrifying. Every single evening, he would marry a new bride. And every single morning, before the sun rose, he would have her executed. One night, that's all any woman got. The Grand Vizier, the Sultan's most trusted advisor, was forced to carry out these terrible orders. It was his duty to find these brides, knowing full well he was sending them to their deaths. Can you imagine? Day after day, choosing innocent girls to die. The entire kingdom fell into mourning. The streets that once rang with laughter now echoed with weeping. Fathers clutched their daughters, knowing any day the vizier might knock on their door. Mothers couldn't sleep, terrified their child would be chosen next. The same people who once blessed their sultan now cursed his name. But here's where our story takes an unexpected turn. The Grand Vizier himself had two daughters. The younger Scheherazade was sweet and ordinary, but the elder daughter, she was extraordinary. Her name was Scheherazade, and she possessed something rare: a brilliant mind, unshakable courage, and a plan so dangerous it bordered on madness. Scheherazade had been given the finest education in the empire: philosophy, medicine, history, the arts. Her father had spared no expense in developing her intellect. But more than her knowledge, she had something else: an unbreakable will. One day, she approached her father with a request that made his blood run cold. "Father, I want you to offer me as the Sultan's next bride." The Grand Vizier was terrified. Have you lost your senses? You know what this means. You will be dead before tomorrow's sunrise. But Scheherazade stood firm. I am going to stop this barbarous practice. I am going to save our people. How? Her father demanded. What can you possibly do against the Sultan's madness? Trust me, she replied. If I fall, at least I will die trying to save others. But if I succeed, I will save thousands of innocent lives. The Grand Vizier pleaded with his daughter. He reminded her that if the Sultan ordered it, it would have to execute her himself. Could she imagine forcing her own father to take her life? But Scheherazade wouldn't budge. Her mind was made up. Finally, heartbroken and desperate, the Grand Vizier gave in. He went to the palace and told the Sultan he would bring Scheherazade the next evening. The Sultan was shocked. How would you sacrifice your own daughter? It is her wish, my lord, the Vizier replied sadly. The Sultan's response was chilling. Very well, but remember, you will take her life yourself. If you refuse, your head will roll instead. That evening, Scheherazade prepared for what everyone believed would be her last night alive. But she wasn't preparing to die. She was preparing to win. She called for her sister Dinarazade and revealed her plan. Tonight, I need you to do exactly as I say. When the Sultan allows you to stay in our chamber, everything dependent on the next few moments. Turn to the Sultan. Will your Highness permit me to honor my sister's request? The Sultan thought for a moment. Then he said one word, willingly. And Scheherazade began to speak. But here's the genius of her plan. Scheherazade didn't just tell any story. She wove a tale so captivating, so filled with misery and adventure that the Sultan found himself completely entranced. Her words painted pictures of distant lands, of heroes and villains, of magic and danger. Time disappeared as he listened. But then, just as the story reached its most exciting moment, just as the Sultan was desperate to know what happened next, the sun began to rise and Scheherazade stopped. I am sorry, sir. I must stop here. Dawn has arrived. For the first time in months, the Sultan hesitated. He needed to know how the story ended. But if he let her live, he would break his own decree. Finally, he made his decision. You may live for one more day. Tonight, you will finish the story. Scheherazade bowed her head, hiding her small smile of victory. But that night, she would do it again. She would tell a new tale, even more thrilling than the last, and stop just before the ending. One night became 2, 2 became 10, 10 became 100. This is how the legendary collection known as 1001 Nights was born. All because one woman refused to accept that death was inevitable. Scheherazade teaches us that intelligence and creativity can triumph over even the darkest tyranny. She weaponized the most powerful force in human history, storytelling. If this story captivated you like it captivated the Sultan, hit that like button and subscribe for more legendary tales from history. Drop a comment telling me what's your favorite story from the Arabian Nights. Remember, every story has the power to change the world. You just have to be brave enough to tell it. Until next time, keep seeking the extraordinary in the everyday.